The Biotechnica Flats in Cyberpunk 2077 have always struck me as a really interesting location, mostly because this place is absolutely huge. Look at the girth. To give you some real perspective of just how massive this place is, all of these squares in this little area here are the Biotechnica Flats, and to give this game a good amount of credit, a large portion of this place is indeed accessible. However, a large portion of it is also inaccessible. So really today I'm going to be showing you the Biotechnica Flats, which we never really got. We did get quite a lot of it, but I think there's a great amount of speculation regarding, first of all, why is this place so huge, and second of all, why is it barely implemented into the actual playable game. All of a sudden we come across things like this, you know, like this little tiny, like, what is this, like a little toilet building? Like, why is this here? But as soon as you get in here, straight away to your right and to your left, you have these gigantic walls which are preventing you from going any further. But of course, clipping behind them, you can see that we're just met with an extremely long road, like absolutely ginormous, eventually hitting more barriers, going beyond them hits even more barriers, and it's almost like this place is just barriers upon barriers, which to me at least just seems really goddamn bizarre. This location is huge, right? And I understand that not all of it is going to be practical per se, but if not all of it is practical, then why have it this big? You know, it doesn't need to be this big, unless of course you want to be faithful to the tabletop or the lore or whatever. In my eyes, it just ends up being really disjointed and kind of more confusing than anything. Surely you'd want less space and more ability to actually, I don't know, like put gameplay in, put missions, gigs in, like for example, this area all the way down here on the coastline is entirely unused. This is like sector 4, I think, which is what's shown to us. But I will say that all of these little agriculture buildings don't have anything inside of them. There's truly nothing interesting going on with them, which does make me think, you know, to a little extent maybe, that something was absolutely intended for the Biotechnica Flats. And again, the more you start to explore Cyberpunk and look into cut content, the more you begin to notice patterns, particularly with corporations, right? Think about the amount of videos that we have had together where a source of cut content or a source of Night City being unused always relates to a corporation, whether it be Petrochem, Arasaka, Militech, Biotechnica. It seems like anything in relation to these gigantic megacorps and their kind of presence in Night City results in very weird areas which always just feel like they're so unbelievably undercooked, or, you know, like there was something more intended but just never really ended up happening. Essentially, I have an image of a pre-release map of Night City which isn't available in the public domain. I have managed to secure this and I won't show it on screen, but essentially I'm using this to inform a lot of these videos. It's interesting because in this picture the Biotechnica Flats don't even exist. Like, these were never in earlier versions of Cyberpunk. This entire location must have been added pretty late into development, especially because on this map, and again I'm sorry I can't show it, things like City Centre, things like Santo Domingo, these are all pretty much as they are in the final build of the game, but we don't have Biotechnica. Badlands is also not in the game, and Pacifica is entirely different because we know that Pacifica underwent a great amount of change, so a lot of the Biotechnica Flats were actually parts of Pacifica. So this leads me to believe that Biotechnica Flats was essentially an afterthought. It was something which was added pretty late into development, around the same time that Pacifica in pre-release was completely changed, completely gutted, and maybe there was a lot of dead space, so, you know, CDPR decided to fill it with basically a location which looks ginormous but doesn't have a lot of substance, and that's why a great deal of this is unusable, locked off with barriers. It would also explain why all of these agriculture tents are empty. It's essentially here as filler, right? It's here to make the map look bigger and probably as a consequence of Pacifica changing very drastically in pre-release versions of this game. So anyhow, that is the Biotechnica Flats that we never really got. I mean, I know we can explore them to some extent, but just look at this place, like it's absolutely huge. I'm a firm believer it's because it was added in quite last minute. Anyhow, that just about sums up today's video. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy, feel free to leave a like on it, and as always, thank you so much. I will catch you lot in a bit.